There was an election. The results came in overnight, and the following evening, when people came through that door, the room changed. Not the walls, not the chairs or the tables or the light coming through the same windows it's always come through. The room itself was exactly as it had been. But the people who came through the door brought something different with them, something they'd picked up between the result and arriving here. And the room held all of it, the way rooms do. The first thing I noticed was the sound. This room has an evening sound I know well. The particular volume and rhythm of people settling in, the conversations that start on something easy and find their way somewhere. That sound was different the evening after the results came in. Louder in some corners, quieter in others. And the loud and the quiet weren't sitting close together. People had arranged themselves, without deciding to arrange themselves, in a way that kept a little more distance than usual. Some of them were jubilant. The word isn't too strong. There was a genuine brightness to them, a certainty that something had gone the right way, a relief that had turned into energy. They came through the door carrying it, and they put it down in the room, and it was loud. Some of them were quiet in a way I've learned to read. Not the quiet of someone who has nothing to say, the quiet of someone sitting with something they haven't found words for yet. And some of them were frightened. I want to be plain about that, because plain is what it was. Not vaguely uneasy, not abstractly concerned, but looking across the room at specific people they knew and wondering what this result would mean for those people. There was a woman near the door who has a friend whose visa has been a conversation for the past 2 years. A man at the corner table who has a son and who had watched what the campaign said about people like his son and was now sitting with the knowledge that enough people had heard that and said yes anyway. The fear was real, and it was about real people, and it was sitting in the same room as the jubilation, and nobody was talking across that distance. I've held all of their coats, all of their fears and their joys. That's what I do. There are people who spend a great deal of time and resource building feelings in other people. Fear, mostly. Pointed at a face, wrapped in a story, delivered through every channel that can carry it, each one confirming the last, until the feeling lands as if the person arrived at it themselves. What used to arrive slowly, in conversations and newspapers and meetings, now arrives in the pocket all day. By the time someone walks into a room like this one, carrying that fear, they've been inside it so long that it feels like something they worked out themselves. It doesn't feel like something that was handed to them. That's the point of it. I watched one man in particular that evening. He'd come in certain, the kind of certainty that doesn't shift when you press it, that finds another grip. Someone near him asked, not provocatively but genuinely, what he thought would actually change. And I watched the moment when the answer he'd prepared met the question he'd actually been asked, and something didn't quite fit. And he found another answer and held that instead. He sat quieter after that. Not changed, just quieter. Towards the end of the evening, 2 people ended up near each other who I wouldn't have predicted. One from the jubilant corner, one from the quiet one. I don't know what brought them together, someone introducing them probably, or just the ordinary drift of a room in its later hours. It started careful, and then something shifted. One of them said something true or asked something real, and the other received it without using it as ammunition, and the careful quality went out of it. The jubilant one left a little quieter than they arrived. The quiet one left looking a little less like they were carrying everything alone. The room held them both. That's what it was built for. There was a question I heard on the way out, not asked aloud, half under the breath to nobody, by a person who'd been sitting alone near the window most of the night. The first thing they'd said all evening that I could hear, said quietly as they pulled their coat on. Who actually gains from this? The fear that some of them came in with was real. The consequences they were worried about are real, and they'll land on real people. I'm not placing that alongside anything else, as if it's just one more feeling. But the fear some of the others were carrying, the supplied kind, pointed at a face that was chosen for them. That one travels. Not toward whoever built it. The source stays warm. Who actually gains from this? That question points somewhere the noise usually doesn't. Not at the face on the poster, at the machinery underneath it. I've been sitting with it since. I'll still be here when you get back.